What was in my mind, of course, before I entered the court, as I said, I know who I am, and my intention was to get the papers, Kate's writings, into the court, which I achieved, and also to let them know a little bit about the fraud. This is the conversation with the prosecutor, trying all the time to not drop into their jurisdiction, but very twisty-turny events. Anyway, I knew who I was, and I was sticking to my guns, and it's all about the name, as we know. So in the end, I was confident that no matter what they did, it was always charged to that legal name, which means that the Crown was now responsible and liable for the charges which were administered to the legal name, which is their property, not mine. Sorry about that. Okay, listen and enjoy. It's all about the name.
Yep, and I appreciate that. Now you understand that just because a name's been put on a bit of paper, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with that?
It doesn't necessarily mean it's me either. This is the point I'm getting at.
Yep, but when we're talking about these charges, and you will have seen what the charges are,
yeah, I know that.
Even though the name Peter Williams has been put on it, all that means is that's just a name.
That's right.
Yeah, if you agree that you were the person who did those things, then you can agree to the court that you've done those things.
That's right. Yep, I know, I understand all that.
Right.
That's fine.
You can also understand that you can ask the magistrate for bail today if you wish to, and just because you don't agree with the name on there, if you agree to the court that you will come back on a certain date and a certain time and it will comply by certain conditions, then the magistrate could take that into account. Alright, I know your argument's all about the name, but the name's not necessarily everything.
Well,
it's more about the acts and the promises.
Yeah, no, it's still about the name, as far as I'm concerned.
Alright. So, your position is today that you won't plead guilty to the charges, you won't ask for bail, you won't...
Well, I'm not coming in here to do that. I'm here as a witness, that's all I'm doing.
Okay, well, unfortunately you're here as the person who's been charged.
Well, I'm not a person either. This is a whole...
And I appreciate you've got your argument.
Well, it's just the truth. That's all I'm standing, it's the truth.
You can argue that all you like, but you understand if without...
Well, I'm not arguing because
without
I can't argue
without something before the magistrate, the likelihood is...
That's enough.
Yeah, but you've got to acknowledge something.
Well, I am acknowledging.
So what I'm saying to you is you can acknowledge that you have done the things that have been alleged, and you can put yourself up before the magistrate and accept the punishment that's been given, or you can ask for bail and make promises to the court and agree that you abide by those conditions. The alternative is, unfortunately, that you just get locked up.
Well, I don't. The name does.
Well, no, the body does.
That's your law, though. It's still the name. It's all the name.
And unfortunately, you can argue the name all you like, but it's the body that'll get locked up, not the name.
I know. Well, not really. You're associating the body with the name.
No, as I say, I'm disregarding the name. I haven't referred to you as the name at all.
No, of course you haven't.
The body will get locked up unless the body makes a decision.
So who do you charge?
As I said, a name.
A name.
Any name will be attached to a person. It doesn't matter whether it's the right name or not.
Person.
The body.
The body is
the
not
court doesn't particularly care what name you go by.
Well, as I said, I might be able to give you a legal name today to go by, which has standing in a court.
Well, if that's what you wish to do, and you wish to be...
Otherwise, it's a witness.
You wish that name to be attached.
The witness is a neutral.
Yep.
It's neither a defendant or a prosecutor.
But you understand, we will always attach a name to you.
Yeah, I know.
Because we can't have every person as the living witness, because we've had it a few times before.
Well, yeah, well, you'll find it'll be a lot more of it coming along as people wake up to the truth.
And I'll tell you, the court doesn't particularly care what people choose to be
I
recognised as, and that's why I say they'll attach the name to.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's your decision about whether you wish to, as the living witness, either accept the charges, as the living witness, ask for bail, and abide by the conditions that the court sets for you, or choose to remain nameless and argue that the living witness can't be charged, can't be recognised by the Crown of Victoria, and the answer will be that the living witness can be locked up in a police cell for an amount of time.
So what about a living man?
Alright, I can tell the court that you wish to be referred to as the living man, alright, but the name of Peter Williams will be attached to your charges.
Which is a fiction.
That's fine. As I said, the name's irrelevant.
You can't say a living man is a fiction.
I don't need to say anything. All I need to have is a name attached to the charges.
And there's your fiction.
And as I said, the names are fictitious. The court doesn't particularly care whether names are the right names or not. They are the names that have been allocated to people by some other authority.
That's right.
The identity of the body is all that matters.
That's right.
And the identity is not necessarily a name. So I can tell the court you wish to be referred to as the living witness, but you have been charged as Peter Williams. So the question is then, does the living witness either accept the charges, or does the living witness wish to seek bail?
See,
and will the living witness agree to the conditions
what
put
you're
forward
actually
by the
doing
court?
is bearing false witness.
I'm not doing anything.
The judge or whatever, whoever's
You
run
can
this.
argue that with the judge.
I'm not arguing that.
No, but you are.
No, I'm just telling you the truth.
Okay. You can tell the court the truth,
That's right.
but you have those three choices today.
But I know they won't listen to the truth because they don't deal in the truth.
No, they deal with a set of law that's been put down by them,
By the Crown, which is all.
which is what they abide by. You choose not to, they do.
It's man-made laws. I go by God's law. 10 Commandments is my law. And that's far above any man-made law.
Unfortunately, God's law doesn't cover things above and beyond what was made a couple of thousand years ago.
Yes, it certainly does. It's concrete.
God's law doesn't include the use of motor vehicles.
No, that's right. So that's why.
So if you were abiding by God's law, you wouldn't use motor vehicles because that's not a part of God's law.
But that's part of the rule.
You've gone above and beyond what is in the Ten Commandments.
No, okay, sorry.
Okay. The question is today, sir, whether you wish to either accept the charges that have been put on you under the alias of Peter Williams, whether you wish to ask for bail today, or whether you ask that you be further remanded in custody and remain at the cells at the police station. They're the three choices that will be put upon you. Which would you like to do, sir?
No, they're not choices, as far as I'm concerned.
They may not be the choices that you want, but they're the choices you have.
Wow. I mean, it's total fraud, the whole thing. That's what it is.
That's a matter of perspective and opinion.
That's right. And it is an opinion, and it is the truth. So, I mean, you can't dispute the truth.
Lots of people do. There's different versions
I
of
know,
truth.
but you can't dispute it.
It still comes down to you have those three choices today, sir.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I don't, but anyway.
Do you wish to make a choice, or do you wish to leave it up to the magistrate?
Well, it doesn't matter what I do. I mean, you're gonna bulldoze me into something that's totally
No.
illegal.
Well, all that's there is there the three choices that the magistrate is allowed.
That's yeah, allowed. I'm not allowed anything.
You're allowed to make one of those three choices.
Yeah, well, that's all I'm allowed.
That's what's entitled upon you.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm allowed to do what I like under God's law.
You may be. That may be your opinion.
It's not opinion, that's the truth. This is what I can't get across to you people.
But not every person agrees with your choices, do they?
No, because they don't know me.
No.
I'm me.
So there are different truths out there.
Well, that's up to everybody individually to do.
Exactly.
You know, that's what I'm doing. I'm living my life as an individual under God's law.
And unfortunately, other people out there will put things upon you.
Yeah, but they can't. That's against my will. You can't impose.
It's against
you
your
can't
beliefs.
impose your will upon another. That is a law. That's a God-given law that
Well,
they're stuck for good.
You'll find the magistrate will impose their will upon you.
I know, but that's against the law.
Okay. But you still have one of those three choices to make today.
Well, it's still against the law.
Okay. So. Are you going to make a choice, or shall I just tell the magistrate?
Give me the three choices.
The choices are that you accept the charges that have been put upon you under the alias of Peter Williams. You accept the punishment that the magistrate gives to you. You can ask for bail today. The second choice is you can ask for bail today, and you can agree with the magistrate that you will abide by certain conditions and you will come back to this court to face the decision of the magistrate on another occasion. Or you can be further remanded in custody and placed in the cells at the police station.
Not many choices.
No, I said there was only three. And I knew you wouldn't like any of them. But they're the three choices.
They've all been forced upon you.
Yep.
Against my will.
Yep.
Which is totally wrong.
Funnily enough, when we charge people with criminal offences, it's against their will.
That's right.
Whether they break God's law or Crown law.
That's totally wrong. Yeah.
I'll make a decision now, or I'll leave it up to the magistrate.
From what I know, you've got to charge somebody.
Got to charge an individual, a body.
That's right.
I told you, it doesn't matter what the name is. You're the body that's been charged today. Doesn't matter what you choose to be known as.
But would you agree, under corporate law, corporation...
We're in criminal law here, not corporate.
Well, there's no such thing as a criminal. Not for a... Not
Make
for
a decision, sir.
not for a
I'm not going to argue with you indefinitely.
Let's go with the bail.
You want to ask for bail? That's fine.
But bearing in mind that I don't particularly want to sign, because it'll be signed under what name?
As I said, it will have a name attached to it. You don't necessarily have to agree with that name. What you have to do is promise to the court that you will come back and you will accept the jurisdiction of this court and you will abide by whatever conditions it imposes upon you.
And that means I've got to sign a paper.
It does.
That's right.
However you wish to do so. I know previously you've put a thumbprint down, the court accepts that.
Yeah, I've only got to touch the paper to be...
Needs some sort of impression left.
Not necessarily.
By the court's record
It can
it
be
does.
done
By the court's record it does. And remember, you've got to abide by what their decisions are.
because they're only going by the fictional side of things.
We're going around in circles.
Okay, that's all right. Because I will not accept anything spiritually.
I'm not asking anything spiritually.
I know
As
you're
I
not,
said, it's all
but
about the body.
I will be. Okay.
It's all about the body.
That's right. Yeah, well, that's not what I mean.
And
At that point,
the promises that you will make to the court, as I said, and they must be true promises. All right, not just something that you're agreeing to and then not recognising under the jurisdiction of this court.
As I said, it's a contract.
And you don't agree with contracts. That's my point.
No, certainly not. Not Crown corporate contracts, that's for sure.
So then it becomes an issue where that document, if you're not recognising the validity of that document's pointless.
Well, it is. That's right.
So really the court won't accept it because they've got to accept that you will come back to this court and you will abide by its conditions.
Well, the thing is, if I sign it, I might physically sign it, but spiritually I will not be in that contract.
All right. And if you make a sworn promise to God that you will abide by it?
Which God?
The God that you recognise.
There's two gods.
There's many gods by many different interpretations.
Right.
Good morning, Senior.
Good morning, Your Honour.
And you've got Mr. Williams there, is that right?
Well, Your Honour, perhaps I'll explain it in a bit of detail. The person beside me is the person charged as Peter Williams.
Yes.
This gentleman is not seeking to be recognised by that name. He chooses to have no names and is seeking to be recognised as the living witness, or not even recognised as the living witness. He is simply the living witness to these charges, or to the court. He is supported here today by a friend Gazza, who's seated behind me, Your Honour.
Yes.
The issue we have today, Your Honour, is that the person charged with Mr Williams is before the court in relation to 3 files.
Yes.
This gentleman refused to acknowledge the laws of the Commonwealth, or the Crown. States that all these laws have been put in place by the Crown Corporation, and that he cannot abide by those. The matter, the issue of pleas of guilty, bail or remand had also been put forward. He has indicated that he would like bail, but the issue is about whether he will agree to such a promise, considering that he finds that it is a contract between himself and the Crown, and he doesn't agree with any contracts or anything of that nature. He only abides by his own spiritual beliefs. That's the current situation as it stands, Your Honour.
Alright, so where the informant is Cronk, I've got 2 charges of state false name or address, fraudulently used registration label, use unregistered motor vehicle and unlicensed driving.
That's correct.
And then where McCallum is the informant, I've got similar charges, unregistered motor vehicle, number plates not affixed, unlicensed driving, state false name or address, and then I have an application for an order to revoke bail.
That's correct, Your Honour. The application to revoke bail is in relation to a matter where Kel is the informant. That has some similar charges, Your Honour, being unregistered motor vehicle, fraudulently using false number plates and refusing to state name and address. It also has attached charges of possessing a prohibited weapon without exemption or approval, which was in relation to a sword, as well as failing to store category A of B long arms correctly and failing to comply with licence conditions in relation to some firearms that were located unsecured in the van that the accused was occupying.
What, are we talking about a caravan or a...
No, you're on a high-ass van.
Right. Alright, and why does he use firearms, do you know?
Hunting purposes. Hunting purposes on the form, Your Honour.
Right.
He was the holder of a firearms licence under the name of Peter Williams at the time, Your Honour. Okay.
And that's still current?
That's still current, Your Honour. He was released on bail by Bail Justice Colin Smith. He entered that bail on the 22nd of August to appear before the Bairnsdale Magistrates Court next week. Sorry, this week, on the 8th of October, Your Honour.
Yeah. So why is he before the court today?
Your Honour, he's before the court today in relation to the charges of Cronk and Williams. Cronk and McCallum.
Yeah.
And in relation to commission of further offences whilst on bail.
Okay, so he was on bail for the Kell matters.
That's correct.
And to appear on the 8th, and then he's got these 2 new sets of charges.
That's correct, Your Honour. The McCallum matters are on the 24th of September, and the Cronk matters the 3rd of October.
Alright. Okay, thanks for that. I'll hear from Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, what do you want to say to me?
I'd rather not refer to me as Mr. Williams.
Well, I have to call you something, sir, so I'd like to call you Mr. Williams, given that that's the name on your license, firearms license application.
Can't accept that. Accept me as the witness today, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm going to call you Mr. Williams, so let's have a talk about what your position is today, Mr. Williams.
Well, it's pretty hard for me to respond to that name, sorry.
Well, it's not. We're talking today about your liberties, sir. And the question is whether you wish to apply for bail today. Police appear to be opposing bail. And you're due to come back to court in 2 days' time in any event. So the options today are for you to apply for bail, and then I could bring you back to court on the 8th of October, when you can deal with all 3 matters on that day, and I'll hear your application for bail if you want to do that.
I might ask, who are the charges addressed to?
Sorry, what was the question?
Who are the charges addressed to?
Well, you've been served with them. You are the person who the police have charged.
I'm not a person, sorry.
Well, I want you to please assist me in this process. Do you have any health issues?
No, I certainly do not. I'm very healthy.
Great. All right. Well, let's have a sensible chat about this then.
Sure.
If what I want you to do is to tell me if you're applying for bail and whether you wish to be released back into the community, because I'll hear your application if you want to do that. If you wish to be remanded in custody, then I will remand you in custody until 2 days' time. So I'm now waiting to hear what your application is.
The point is here, we're looking at a corporate fiction.
Well, we're not. We're in court. I'm a magistrate, and I'm waiting to hear what you want to do.
But what I'm asking too is, who are you charging? As in...
You. You're charged.
But who is you?
You. Well, you, Mr. Williams, you're charged.
I'm not Mr. Williams.
All right, well, you've accepted a firearms license in your name.
Yeah, but this name you're looking at is a corporate fiction, is it not?
Well, I don't accept that. What I want you to tell me is whether you want to be released on bail or not.
Well, at this point, I need to prove my identity. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, you tell me who you are then.
I'm a living spiritual consciousness inside a human body. That's all I am.
All right. All right. Is your friend able to assist me at all?
No, he's got nothing to do with this, and I'd rather leave him out of it, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, look, I understand it then that whatever name you choose, you are not making an application for bail today, and that you are happy to be remanded in custody for the next 2 days.
I will look at the bail at this point.
You'll what? Sorry, I missed that. You'll what?
We'll look at the bail at this point.
You want to apply for bail?
No, I said I'll look at it and consider it.
Yeah, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
No.
Are you applying to be released from custody now or not?
Otherwise, we stay till the next court meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah, you'd stay in custody for the next 2 days.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Well, it might be the only option at this point.
Okay.
Can I ask you a few questions, please?
If they're relating to your case, certainly.
Yes, certainly. That all binds around the case. I believe you are a bar member, are you not?
A what?
A bar member?
I'm a magistrate.
Yes, that's the bar. You're the Bar Association?
No, I'm a magistrate.
Oh, okay. Well, what I'm trying to get at here is the name that's on the birth certificate needs to have approval by the Crown to be used as identification. Now, I have not got approval to use that name at any point. So that means I'm committing fraud by using that name. And I believe a bar member is the only one that has got permission to use their name to be able to stand in court. Now, I have another name that I can give you, which is legal and which has permission from the Crown to be used in the court situation. It has a standing in court. That name is Jane Doe-755. That has just recently been granted to an individual, and it is gifted, if you like. If you know the definition of gift in the Black's Law Dictionary, you will see that it is equivalent to a bar member. It is, you have permission to use that name.
So I might end up using that name at this point because I can use it. I cannot use this other fictional name that I was given at birth because it is not me and it is not for me to use. It's against the law and it's a capital offence. So I cannot utter those words at any time. Do you understand that? Because I'm assuming that you'd know all this, being in your position.
Well, for the purposes of today, you're charged as Mr. Williams. You're going to be remanded in custody as Mr. Williams. I'm just making some notes now for the custody management team. Senior, is there any issues you want me to specifically note? And I'll note that Mr. Williams denies that he has any mental health or other issues.
I'll just
I'm
ask
not
you.
denying, I'm just saying I haven't.
Do you take any medication or anything of that nature?
No, nothing at all.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
Do you visit a doctor or anything like that? No, you're not aware of any custody management issues.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I might add something else if you don't mind, just to give you a little bit of indication of where I'm coming from. As far as I know, and I'm sure you know as well, you need my consent to actually to be able to do anything as far as charges and whatever else, because all the charges are charged to the corporate fiction name. Now, I'm not claiming that name, so in actual fact, I am not a dead fiction, and I never will be. As far as I'm concerned, I'm living now under universal law, which is the law of truth and love, and that's where I stand at the moment, and I don't believe that I am under the jurisdiction of any Crown copyright laws.
Okay.
I'm standing.
Are you going to get any legal advice between now and the 8th of October?
No, I do not need legal advice. Thank you.
All right, I think you do. I think you should listen and speak to a lawyer who can assist you on the 8th of October, and so that's what I would advise you to do.
Well,
so I'm remanding
in
custody, given that you've made no application for bail today, and the police sought revocation of your bail, given that you committed further offences whilst on bail. And so your matter will be heard at the Bairn Cell Magistrates Court on the 8th of October 2014. Thanks very much. Unless there's anything else, I propose to close down the video right now.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you.
So you now get another 2 days in the cells. We'll come back on Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday's the first
That's
day.
the 8th, I think,
Right.
the original.
Yeah, that's Wednesday.
60 days.
Alright, we'll go through the same process again. Alright. I appreciate your perspective, sir. But you've seen the courts have dealt with this a couple of times before.
Yep.
And their position doesn't change.
I know.
So maybe you might need to yours.
Very dogmatic.
Clearly you are a bit too.
Well, of course. I was a stand up for my rights. Thank you.
You're going to be spending a lot of time with us, Peter.
Huh?
You're going to spend a lot of time with us. You're going to stick with that transport.
The paperwork.
I'll bring it back. It's got to be faxed through from
Okay.
Trove.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Alright.
All right.